Okay, we're going to call to order the Town of Lloyd regular meeting for March 19th, 2025, and I will ask Tasso Bacasius to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, well, I'm still up a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's been well publicized already, but we attended, a few of us, I know I attended and some other members attended Tasso Bacasius's achievement of Eagle Scout. And normally when that happens, we give them an Outstanding Citizens Award in recognition of your outstanding leadership and achievement of rank of Eagle Scout. You're an inspiration to your family, the scouts of our community, and your scouts and your community. Congratulations. It's from the town board. And I think everybody knows now, but he's responsible for the beautiful kiosk we have at the kayak launch off of 299. Really great job, and we really appreciated it. And I will present you with your Outstanding Citizen Award. Once again, congratulations. All appreciate it.
Very good.
Congratulations.
We're gonna miss the Hershey Kisses. You keep coming back.
Thank you again, Tasso.
Just because she's in the room, it's worth mentioning Heather Blakely and Scenic Hudson was such a big part of that project. So
Yes, they were.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, we're going to move forward. We do have a public hearing tonight. It's on local law A of 2025. Again, and that's the local law to amend the zoning, chapter 100 zoning, basically changing the bulk cables to allow 50-foot buildings in the Gateway District. And if they're 300 feet off of the center of the road with the proper buffering, which is only a few parcels that could happen on. Is there anybody here? First of all, can I get a motion to open a public hearing?
Motion?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is open. Is there anybody here tonight for the public hearing? Nobody yet. We will leave the public hearing open until the end of the meeting in case there's anybody that shows up. Okay, we'll move forward to the reports. The town board liaisons, and we'll start off with Councilmember Rizzo. You can go through both of yours.
Sure.
Tiffany.
So for beautification committee, it's still quiet. You know, the March flags were up, they'll come down. Spring flags will go up. And we will be meeting again in April. So it's been quiet, so we just haven't had meetings. So April, we're going to start our meetings back up. For school, they are currently working on the budget, and I'll have more to report on that in the upcoming weeks. The next board meeting has been moved to the 8th. It was on the 1st. Looks like the board is going to be approving the use of the new field for the youth programs. So that's a pretty big deal for anybody who's involved in the youth programs, the sports programs. There's still a lot of outstanding kindergarten registration packets. So this is a reminder for anybody that needs to get those in to please do so. Any local preschools that are interested in UPK, the deadline is the end of March. Tomorrow night at 5:30 in the auditorium, there is a Highland parents are asked to join an important information meeting to learn about the district's new cell phone policy, as well as internet safety tips from our Lloyd Police Department. I do strongly encourage everybody to go. It's a stricter policy for cell phones. It's kind of a bell to bell. You're not really allowed to have them. And then of course it's always helpful for parents to have, internet safety training. The theater department is inviting Highland senior citizens to a free open dress rehearsal of the Addams Family musical, and that's on March 27th at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. The musical itself will be on the 28th and the 29th at 7 p.m., and that is a $10 presale and $15 at the door. Colleen Mullen is the new assistant principal at the high school. Congratulations to her. And the Give Back Snow Days are going to be 4/11, 4/21, 5/23, and 5/27. And there was a lot. I tried to just sum it up.
That's fine.
All right.
Good to hear. Thank you. Any questions, John or anybody?
No.
anything? Okay, we'll move forward then to Councilmember Frano, and you have your events, lights, and fire and ambulance, John.
And pavilion. Do it all. Okay, we had the events committee last Saturday had a very successful 5K event. They actually had 280 people sign up. I think about 250, 260 actually ran. Unfortunately, we had one little young lady fell and broke two of her adult teeth right at the beginning of the race. I spoke to her dad Sunday. I just again spoke to him this afternoon. And he said she's starting to smile again, but she does require some dental work and caps or whatever. But he said no apples and no corn on the cob, but she's starting to smile. So that's a good deal. Working with the events committee on the fireworks, we have to get an application into the school. I don't know if you're aware, last year we had some resistance, which ended up costing the town considerable amount of money in additional insurance. We're hoping to avoid that. So with the supervisor, we're going to get our application into the school for approval to use the grounds, and hopefully they'll be a little bit more willing to work with us. So that's it for events. The ambulance, they had a fairly busy month, 179 calls. Average response for the calls was 7 minutes and 4 seconds. They had, I believe it was three times that were over the 859 requirement. And we had explanation for that. There were multiple calls in the district. Another one was wrong address. But they are well within the contracted time. So 7 minutes, 4 seconds average. We implemented a gas, I call it a gas card. It's really not, but they are now purchasing their gas from the town through the highway department. And that will help them purchase gas at state bid and keep their operating expenses down, which in turn reflects back to what we pay for the service. So things are going well with them, and the relationship remains strong and healthy. The lighting, we have, I don't know if springtime's a time when lights blow out or people just notice them more or what, but we have quite a few reports in with Central Hudson for street light outages. Unfortunately, they've been a little slow to respond. They were like 2 weeks, and now it's taken like 4 weeks and a couple of repeat follow-up phone calls. So hopefully that improves. So whatever's going on with them, hopefully that improves. And still waiting for we're looking at a proposal to buy back all the non-LED lighting, which is much more expensive than LED type lighting. So we have to get the undepreciated amount on that, and then just do a review to see if it's financially feasible to buy that out and then put all LEDs in. So I'm still waiting for that. Hopefully those numbers will be coming forth soon. The fire district, they had a pretty busy month. They had 33 alarms last month. Average firefighters per call was 12. The highest number of firefighters at a call was 22. Number of trucks or apparatus responses was 73. Firefighter hours for answering alarms, 250 hours. Hours for meetings, 69. Hours for training, 280, and miscellaneous hours, 28. So we got 627 man-hours of volunteer firefighters from Highland Hose Company. And they have, next month's meeting will be their elections of all their officers, both for the social end and the firematic end. So we'll give you a report of that. That's it for the fire. Oh, we tested, they came forth, they had a concern about a fire hydrant at the end of literally the end of the line on North Riverside. Adam's crew went up there, they tested the hydrant. Everything was functioning properly, so we got good flow. But now we're trying to coordinate with the fire department. They're going to bring their ladder truck, hook it to that hydrant, and do an actual, like a real scenario type test to see if that hydrant is adequate to provide the flow necessary. I spoke to Adam yesterday, and we're going to be doing that probably in the next week or so. Dave Barton is going to be involved also, and we'll give you an update next meeting. The pavilion, we're moving along. The garage door came in today. Unfortunately, the guy who is volunteering his time or donated the garage door, he's leaving for California tonight. He has to go out of town on some family business. So we lost a week, but he assured me, I saw him this afternoon, he assured me when he gets back next week, it will take him one day. We'll have the garage door in, and that will be completely secured. We have a resolution on the agenda tonight. I got quotes for the remainder of the electrical work for the lighting, the outlets. That we'll vote on tonight and hopefully notify the successful contractor. And they have a date I put in there, I think April 11th to complete. Realistically, it should be done probably by the 5th or 6th of April. The Anthony Gingrasso is ordering all the bathroom fixtures, not ordering, they're here. We're going to bring them over. Even though we don't have the garage door locked, we do have the bathrooms that are locked, so we're going to place the fixtures in the bathrooms. And we want Anthony to, and his team to get going on that. All the supplies, again, are ordered. There's a few electrical fixtures I have to order through HC Supply tomorrow. Should have all those in by Friday. And we're closing the gap. And we've committed, we're going to have it ready, restrooms working by Springfest. So I don't see any reason why that shouldn't happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm leaving town. End of report, sir.
Yeah, just a couple things, John. On the events committee, we had a meeting today and we had our department head meeting today. And Jim did say he was getting with Reg to talk about some procedural things for future events. So we asked him to make sure he invited you.
Jim Janso?
Janso,
Okay.
Chief. Yeah, Chief Janso. So just want to make sure you got that. So you do meet with him. Okay?
Yep.
So you're part of that. And just on the ambulance, you talked about the 174 calls. I was actually at the Ulster County Supervisors meeting yesterday, and the ambulance and EMS service was a big discussion there. This is all the 23 municipalities through Ulster County, and there's still a bunch of spots within Ulster County that don't have ambulance service, specifically advanced life support. So the fact that we have, New Paltz Rescue Squad who's under contract with us, getting 200 calls a month and meeting all the metrics, I think is pretty good. So
Yes, it is.
just want to make sure we understand how we compare against the rest of the municipalities. So it was a big subject. It's actually an article in Kingston Freeman about it today. Okay, I'll hit my stuff here.
Can I just chime in for 1 second? I
Yes,
was
sir.
just touching
Sorry.
base about the fireworks quick. The The insurance in general at the school has been an issue, even going back to the turf field, things
Yep.
like that, using the facilities. That's one of the reasons why nobody is ever allowed to use the facilities. So I did just want to let you know that Desmond is actually touching base with their insurance provider and going over kind of what do other schools have versus what we have, why are other schools allowed to do A, B, and C, and you know, we're more conservative about it. So if you wanted to reach out to him, or we wanted to reach out to him
We should do that.
to get a more specific,
Yeah, we
you
should
know,
do
what they're looking for that, that would probably be a good idea.
Yep,
Right.
great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so move forward to my stuff. The Environmental Conservation Committee, we did have a meeting yesterday. Couple key points. Couple key things they're working on. They're still working on the greenhouse gas inventory. There's a intern from Vassar who's doing that. Kind of says benchmarking. It's more, I think, still developing the baseline. And they're still working on the Illinois Mountain Grant. They're having some issue with the state financial system on that. I don't know the exact issue, but Neil was going to get back with me when he's back next week. A couple other key things is Earth Day is 4/22, April 22nd. So they were talking about, Tiffany, for you, I know you organized last year a cleanup day. I don't know if they've reached out to you at all yet for this year, but Earth Day is 4/22. So
Okay.
we want to do it maybe a week on either side. I think 4/22 is Tuesday.
We had looked at the next shred event, right? What was that date? May?
5/3, okay, that's
May
close
3rd.
enough.
So that is the
Yep.
date that we were
Okay.
looking at, yeah.
Great. May 3rd, yeah, that's a shred event, and that'll be a cleanup, community cleanup day. I actually saw a gentleman today up on Talk Drive picking up trash. He says he does it all the time, and I thanked him. His name was Frank. He didn't give me his last name, but so thanks to Frank who picks up the garbage on Talk Drive.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing is they'll have a booth at Springfest on 5/17, and they're right now in the middle of putting together their flyer, their newsletter, which is called the Lloyd Leaf. So that should be out right around Springfest time. So they're trying to get that together. And so that's it for the ECC. There was nothing in Lloyd Community Development right now. And what I'll do is, since Council Member Akmudi's not here, he normally updates us on the landing park, and he normally updates us on, Peter normally updates us on the rail trail. So Ellen, do you have any update on Highland Landing Park?
I do.
You want to get up to the thing? Thank you.
Building is complete, as I'm sure you've heard.
Yep,
We're happy about. That was a connection of the ventilation for the bathrooms and the slop sink. We have classes going down there, the rowing class, that's
Mhm.
the shells going out of the river. And I've been in touch with the superintendent of schools to get his input on uses for the building and park for educational purposes. We're working with getting some hangars for arts in the building. And we'll try to get with our local businesses to use it for business development. That's about it.
okay. And the only other question, we talked to Lenny last week. I don't know if he had a chance to get with you. But for larger boats to dock there, I think we need water and electricity.
It would be nice to
Have-
get that.
Yeah, I'd like to get a project or a plan started to be able to do that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? You good?
Thank you, Al.
Okay, Peter, give us a rail trail update, please. Thanks, Alan.
So the rail trail is picking up people. It wasn't on either.
Nobody heard
No,
it.
it's just loud, that's all.
Okay, go ahead.
So on the rail trail, people are starting to get out as the weather gets better. This month, between now and next meeting, we'll be working on the 3 intersections to help with the traffic on the 3 that are roads are crossing the rail trail and the trail has to stop.
Right,
So we got the signage, we're waiting on the cones and then call dig safe and put it all up. And hopefully it helps a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll help some.
Yeah.
You're not gonna fix every
No.
person that comes through.
Right.
Any questions on that or for Peter?
No. Just comment on the electric out to the boats.
Yeah,
You have 110 out there, but to get 220 out there, you gotta go under a lot of sidewalks and whatnot to get that out.
okay.
Unfortunately, it wasn't planned.
Yeah, well, let's find out what the requirement is and if that's what we have to do, let's see what it takes to do it.
You could go,
Like the boats they get at the Milton Dock, the
Okay.
small
so
tour.
Not a cabin cruiser, we're talking
American Cruise Line.
cruise line. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that's definitely.
You could run it from the building to the sign
Right,
too.
okay.
You probably have to go underneath. Get water out there.
They're on water.
But isn't the depth of the water an issue?
It is probably on the north end. We do have soundings. We'll have to look at the soundings. We've had, US Coast Guard kind of got hung up when the tide went out.
Yeah.
Icebreaker, so it had a pretty big depth to it.
Because Lenny has soundings. He was in my boat last spring and did the whole thing. And there were some spots that my boat, which draws very little water, bottomed out.
By the creek.
No, we didn't even get to the creek, even south. So now I forget what the tide was. It might have been on the low end of the tide, but some of that's pretty shallow in there. Lenny has all the numbers if he can find them.
I think Russ has them now. He's going to do a mapping of the depths.
Yep. And I'll do it again. Striper season's coming. I'll do it again if you guys want to do it. So I'll be in. What's tomorrow? Trout?
Trout's in first, isn't it?
Trout's April 1st.
Stripers.
I
Stripers.
didn't know there was a season on
Yeah,
stripers.
there is.
What's first day of spring, is that $8?
First day of spring. That's what Golden said.
There's something opens tomorrow, because they're all coming, yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks, Alan and Peter. So we'll move forward on the agenda, old business. We have Heather from Scenic Hudson here tonight. We do have some resolutions on, but Heather, if you want to kind of give us an overview of your project? Oh, okay, great.
Nice to see us up here just a second ago. Just a quick overview.
You can take that microphone out if you want.
Okay, might be helpful that I can
Yep.
point to that.
Okay.
So just a quick overview that we've been working for some time now with the town of Lloyd and had applied for a grant and received that grant back in 2019. We're working steadily to move the John Burroughs Black Creek Trail forward into a physical reality. So we're in this map. This is the map of the John Burroughs Black Creek Trail corridor, starting at Illinois Mountain, this kind of node right here, and moving all the way through the corridor to the mouth at Black Creek Preserve, which is property owned by Scenic Hudson. And in this particular case, we were working with the town to identify a route for a connector trail between Berean Park and the rail trail and Empire State Trail. So that has been done. We have done our due diligence with archaeology and wetland delineation, and we're at the point of proceeding through seeker, which is the State Environmental Quality Review with the town board. And we've notified all interested agencies, and the town board is lead agency at this point. The Illinois Mountain Connector is about 0.7 miles all through town lands that were deeded through the Mountainside Woods development. And I'll flip the map here.
Myself, when,
I don't know if you can still see that, but this is actually a close-up where the trail will start off the mountain road behind, near one of the reservoirs. So we'll start into the woods, undeveloped property, Old Woods Road, crosses the Central Hudson power line, transmission line, and continues across, and then it will end up at Vista Drive, I believe,
Yep.
at the end of Vista Drive. From there, it will continue on road with signage through the
Now,
mountainside.
have you had any recent discussions with Dave Weinberg?
I did speak with him, I want to say 3 weeks ago now.
Okay,
He's responsible because he's building out this portion now.
right.
That
'Cause he was here. He thought you were on a couple of weeks ago and he showed up and I told him
Oh,
on
okay.
tonight. So I'm kind of surprised I didn't see him again.
Oh, okay.
That's why I just want to make sure. I'll call, if he has any, I don't know if he's gotten with you recently, so.
Yeah, we spoke recently just to touch base about timing, and since he's from his development, the trail will follow the sidewalks through that development and then proceed down to the rail trail, which has been his obligation through his site plan approval to construct out. So we will coordinate with him
Yeah,
on,
please.
and we have on the call tonight on the link, Aaron Vera from Verity Engineering, who's putting together the construction documents. The highway department is constructing the off-road section, which is going to be supplemented by the grant that we were awarded. So it's the in-kind labor and some materials, and the grant will also supplement with materials and cost for signage and et cetera. So it's about 91,000 in kind and cash match to 102,000 from the grant. So that's how
So the in-kind is 91K?
yeah, just about. It's like $50. And the grant awarded to this, which will cover the archaeology and the engineering to the level of engineering that's needed for the highway. It's not a full construction bid set, but it's enough to get the highway enough information about the layout and the drainage elements needed. We have been in contact with DEC on a brief phone call. Aaron has spoken with them, so we will disturb less than 0.1, a tenth of an acre of wetland. That's because some of the areas in the back here have
Right.
gotten saturated over time, but that's usually not an issue. And the only guidance we have from the State Historic Preservation Office is to avoid certain rock piles and structures with giving that a 5-foot width distance buffer. So, and we don't plan to, it's just more work to have to go through that. So we're not planning to disturb those. So that's, there's no further archaeological studies needed, which is great, as long as we're avoiding those features. So what's left for tonight is for the town board to close the seeker review process. And from there on, that will help finalize what's needed for the grant through the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation and Historic Preservation. They also need the survey map, we have it in draft, which has been reviewed. There was just one minor, I have it here.
Right, and that's resolution C tonight, so we do have that.
Oh, okay. One minor adjustment on the project boundary area that's needed for the grant contract. I have a map here if you need to look at that, or
I don't know.
it's pretty minor. And with that, because of the grant, that will be a public access covenant on just that portion, not the remainder of the town lands. There's a lot to do. And so we will happily work with the highway department to fit construction of this trail in once we get a DEC review, whether we need a wetland permit or not. And we've already been in touch with Central Hudson as far as a license agreement to cross through
Right.
the transmission.
Okay.
That seems procedural and then, so that should happen within
It's
a
a
couple
license,
months.
so not a easement.
It's a license agreement, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Happy to answer any more questions.
Does anybody else have questions, John or Tiffany or Sean?
No, pretty good.
I mean, I think we've been through this enough. The only thing is, as I said, please get with Dave Weinberg because I know he was interested in that connection. Peter?
Quick question, you said that as it hits the street, it will be going on the sidewalk,
Yes,
bicycle. Will there be bicycle markings on the road?
we will, we have signs that will be used for both. It's, I don't know if Aaron, you want to say something to that, but we have signage and that's something we'll have to look through still.
I do think it's important if a bicycle's going to go on a sidewalk, it could create some issues. We've learned that on the rail trail enough.
And usually in those cases, when there is a sidewalk, that's where the pedestrians would go and the
Right.
bike would be
Okay.
on the road.
One would think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Our
that's,
hope.
that's how we lay it
So
out.
some way of delineating that would be preferable.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll make sure that's,
Signage or marking on the ground, whatever.
Right.
okay. Aaron's unmuted if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just to say that the idea at this point would be that cyclists would use the roadway and follow wayfinding signage.
I
Okay.
think it's pretty short distance before it goes back to.
Right.
It does.
All
straight up.
trail, right.
Right. Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions for Aaron or Heather? Okay. I think we'll do the resolution tonight, vote seeker, and go from there. Thank
for
you,
your
Heather.
time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the other old business is a couple weeks ago, we had some residents show up to talk about the town field gate and whether it's locked or open. And I know you and Mike went out, Lenny and I went out.
Right.
So I just wanted to see, what your take was on it and both of your take. Did you get a chance to go there also?
I did not.
Okay. Well, John, I know you and Mike went out, so.
Yeah, Mike and I went out last Thursday and we could see where the gate is that children could end up on the patio. But they have put up signs and so there is clearly a way for them to get through. And then around the other end of the fence, I guess this side of the fence, you can walk through. I mean, Mike and I were able to get through it. So 10, 11-year-olds should have no problem at all. It does there's some shrubs there, actually briars that need to be trimmed back, but it's nothing. And then also the parents' concern about the children now having to walk down and cross Vineyard Avenue twice because there's no sidewalk there. And even though I drive it 10 times a day, I took a look at it. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous for an 8,
It is.
9, 10-year-old child to be having to walk that way. So I would be in full support of opening the gate and encouraging whoever owns that property to clean up those shrubs and make it safe passage for those.
Yeah, and I think the signage keeps people off of the one spot where they don't want to.
Yeah, because if you go straight through the gate, you could be on their patio.
So I think they put the right signage up. So I think we're
So
good.
they have the signage there. Hopefully the kids and their parents will adhere to it and
Yeah,
and
and
make
Lenny,
it safe.
Lenny and I went over, we saw basically the same thing as you did, so. Okay. With that,
We need a motion?
we don't need a motion.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't, we never had a motion to close it, so it just got locked and no new business tonight to discuss. Privilege to the floor.
I have new business, I'm a little lost, I've never.
Okay, well, yeah, so when I do privilege to the floor, which is what I'm doing now, you're more than welcome to, and the way we normally work it is you go up to the microphone and just give Wendy your name and address, and we'll go for it, and then you can bring up what you want. You bring up what you want. We normally try to keep it, to a reasonable 3 to 5 minutes. Okay.
I'm a quick talker.
Okay, you're on then.
My name is Denise Birchall, and I live over in Bridgeview on Sterling Place. A concern that's come up, I'm also on the HOA board over there. A concern that's come up, and I guess it's been ongoing for many years, is there is a sewer at the corner of Sterling and Sterling. We go in a loop.
Yeah,
So-
you talk about the
pump station there.
the pump station, yes.
Yeah, and this winter it's been really bad again.
Yes, it has.
There's things that are just overflowing out into the street. People are getting concerned. One of our residents, the water actually, when it does that, her water lines, her refuse lines slow right down. So everything that's leaving her property slows down. And of course, a few years ago, before I moved in, I know the water had backed up into the clubhouse. So we were very diligent this year in going in and making sure. One of the other concerns is that with all the growth in the area, you know, we now have several more restaurants in the Hannaford Plaza because through researching, I have found that Hannaford is connected to us.
Yep.
Supposedly.
The whole plaza is.
Okay, so the whole plaza.
Bridgeview, the Golden View, Silver Gardens.
Right,
they all,
and
yeah.
now the new one, the new apartment complex.
Silver Gardens, yes.
Is there, and I heard that the Dunkin' Donuts and the AutoZone is now part of that. I'm not
The
sure.
whole plaza is
That
part of
whole section
The whole
there.
plaza goes through there. Yeah.
So, I mean, 30 years ago, that was probably
But
state of the
Yeah,
art.
the capacity, and I happen to be pretty well versed on this
Okay.
because I get phone calls on it, and I've worked with our sewer superintendent, our sanitary waste superintendent on it. And there is a problem. There has been a problem with that pump station. There was a problem 2 years ago, and we'd fixed it, and it was good for a year. And when it went into the clubhouse, that was actually a bad check valve at the clubhouse. Right, so that got fixed. That got fixed by Bridgeview. There is a problem right now with a seal and a vacuum. And we have found a new vendor. We had a different engineer up there, about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And I know our guys have been up there every couple of days now checking it because they don't want to have happen what kind of
Yeah,
what
well,
you're
I
describing.
see them because I'm.
Yeah, so they've been kind of trying to monitor and they'll pump it out if they have to, do what they have to until we get it fixed. We do have a new vendor. They're going to, we have one who can actually take the pump out of the ground and repair it outside of the station, which gives you a better repair. Because before we had to put somebody, the other vendor had to put somebody in a cage down there and with a mask on to do it because there's gases down there. So we do have an understanding what it needs now. We are waiting for the estimate back from the supplier to get it done. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we'll have that and we can get started on it.
Okay, yeah, it is a concern and
Yeah.
believe me, I
And it
hear-
does have the,
People stop and tell me about it now.
yeah, it
So
does
I'm like,
have the
"Oh."
capacity if it works right.
Okay,
Because we actually put the larger
Yeah,
motors,
we
larger.
did an upgrade.
We did an upgrade with larger motors and X impellers, which now chew up more of the, what was it, the wipes and stuff that were going down there?
yeah.
People throw a lot of stuff down there.
Yeah,
down
a lot
there.
of
You'd be surprised, but
different things are going through that.
We tell our residents all the time,
I know.
please don't do it, you know, we tell them,
yeah,
if they
you
live
can't
there.
police it, but
Yeah.
we do know what's wrong with it. We did get as I said, we did get a second engineering opinion and it was very helpful.
Okay.
And he actually found us a different supplier to change the seals and get the vacuum back in.
okay.
So
Yeah,
we're just waiting for the estimate right now. We know it's going to be costly, but we know we have to do it.
Okay, and I mean, are there, with the new, especially with the onset of the new apartment complex going in
Yep.
there, I mean, are they gonna hook up any more after that, or more? What else can go, what else can go to that pump
There's
station?
not much more space there.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, Russell Team. I live at North Chattanooga Lake Road, but Val and I are the property managers for Bridgeview. Dave, we met with you.
Yes,
in
we did. Yeah,
July, right?
I know I recognize from someone.
Absolutely, yeah. And we appreciate that meeting. Thank you, and look forward to working with everyone. So yeah, along with this situation, what makes it hard for us is residents are sending pictures of this raw sewage coming up into the roadway and then spilling into catch basins, and then it's flowing out, right? So what do we, as property managers, tell these residents when there's sewage flowing into a water spillway? And then between unit
Well,
76.
before it, when it's, well, first of all, there's supposed to be an alarm on it.
Okay,
So if the alarm's not working, we need to go check that. Because the minute the alarm goes off, it gets our guys out there.
correct.
So they should get to it before that
Okay.
happens. So I don't know if the alarm's turned off or whatever. We'll have to check that.
Okay, I would definitely check it because I have pictures of it erupting out of there.
Yeah,
and
it
flowing
should never
into the
get to that
basins.
point. When it does though, we should automatically
Okay.
call the.
Yeah, and we
water
do.
so-
right,
You do,
we
and
do.
and if it's an off hours, you can call the police station and they will get a hold of you.
Yeah. So along with that, between units 76 and unit, Amber's 80?
She's 80.
All right, so between 76 and 82, is that right? Yeah. So in the rear of their units, actually in the front of the unit is one of the catch basins where this sewage flows into. And then that catch basin goes across between those two units into the backyards, into a spillway in the woods that used to be maintained, from what I'm understanding, by the town. I walked back there and there is nothing being maintained, so
Well, the
everything is
spillway,
blocked up.
a spillway wouldn't be sanitary, waste. That would be drainage. That would be stormwater.
Yeah, that's,
Well, it should be, but it's going into the catch basin
Okay.
that
Oh, you're
built
saying it's
into there.
going over.
Correct, right. So it's going
Okay.
into that
so it
pipe.
malfunctions.
Right, so it's going into
Okay.
that pipe of the catch basin, which feeds into that spillway. And
Okay.
that spillway is totally overgrown, has not been cleaned
Yeah,
out.
well,
or
that
anything. So
should be
now
cleaned
there's a
up
concern.
under drainage, that part. So we should get with Richie on that.
Yeah, so I would appreciate that because that resident has sent us pictures and then we walked back and saw it with our own, with
Okay.
our own eyes.
That's back
So-
by the, back
In
in
the
the
wood,
clubhouse.
yeah,
right?
no, not where the clubhouse
The
is.
corner,
Yeah, so,
7682,
yeah, you know where I'm talking about, Dave, right? Okay. Um,
The highway department has to clean that, has to go
Correct.
and maintain.
And
that.
it used to be, and the resident told me that they used to do a great job and clear it out. And then she said the past 4 or 5 years, they haven't touched it. So when I walk back there, it's literally like,
Okay.
so if that could be addressed, we would appreciate that. And then, you had just made mention about, you increased the pump size for that station. So with doing that, my question would be, because this was brought up as well, was there some type of engineering report? Like, did you guys know, like, all these other places were definitely coming in? So we went to this side's pump to make sure that this station would be able to keep up adequately with what,
Yeah,
the increase.
anytime a new development comes through.
Yep.
The developer's engineer and the town engineer
Excellent.
has to agree on whether or not there's capacity.
Okay.
And there was capacity even before we put the bigger motors and the impeller in.
Okay.
The more powerful motors, not
Okay.
bigger. We did that to try and help with what we were seeing coming through. Okay, and I think with this latest engineering report we have from, on the repair, I think we learned about the vacuum seals and what has to happen with them going
Okay.
forward, which we weren't totally versed on before.
Gotcha.
So I think there was more of a, I think it was more of a maintenance issue
Okay.
because of, the group we had working on it before, just wasn't as versed as we think this new one is.
Okay.
So
Excellent. That's good to
And-
hear.
and I
that's,
think they-
that's our,
That's your hope.
I think
Understood.
part of that also was the impellers that were in there were not the proper material to handle that, because that was part of the upgrade.
Okay.
Whatever the material that the impellers were,
Okay.
was not suited for that use.
Gotcha.
So part of the upgrade was.
yeah, and sometimes what happens with this stuff is, and we've seen it not just there, but we have 4 or 5 pump stations in town, right? And sometimes as you go through, and some of the stuff was, developed 30, 40 years ago, as new materials get put into the system, sometimes they have a different effect on some of the
Absolutely.
parts in there. And that's one of the things we learned about the wipes, they don't dissolve. I mean,
Right,
They don't,
exactly.
down. So we learned about them a few years ago. That's why we changed that was one of the reasons we changed the impellers
Okay.
to the X impellers.
Excellent. Okay. So, do you want me to check back with you in, a couple weeks in regards to making
Yeah,
sure
sure,
that area is cleaned out and
Sure.
everything? Okay, and we appreciate anything that you guys can do because obviously
I
residents
appreciate the
living
input.
there are much concerned about that, so.
Yep, thanks for the input.
So thanks so much, I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here oh, there we go.
So hi, I've never been to a meeting like this before. We moved up here in, I'd say October. I live at 309 Bellevue. We moved in the fall, late fall, early winter,
Okay.
I would put it.
Can you name, your
I'm
name?
looking for help. We are
Excuse me, your name?
Jean Leonard,
Jean Leonard. Okay. She needs to put it
my
back.
husband William,
Okay.
and my son John.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We're having problems with Optimum. I understand that is our only service available to us when we live in Lloyd. They are less than helpful. I'm being nice. They showed up on New Year's Eve to try and call us to fix a problem. They call at the most inopportune moments. My son, who is very familiar with this, I'm going to ask him to come up and speak. We've been talking to them since October. They've had people at our house and they throw it back in our face. There's an agreement in place and you're stuck with us. So there's nothing you could do.
Well, yeah, so, and I mean, to an extent, they're right. They're controlled by the Public Utilities Commission and they determine the territories for these places. But we do have a corporate contact we can call to try and get you help, which I've used before.
I'd appreciate it because we live up high on
Yeah.
road. I'm
Yep.
sure you're familiar with
Yes,
it.
I am.
We lived on Long Island. There was internet, cable, FiOS, fiber. Here, we're using something that we used 25 years ago on Long Island.
Right.
I have concerns that if there was ever an emergency and something had to go out via text messaging, none of the residents would get it. I go into the library, they have no internet. I go into the supermarket, Hannaford's, the internet is down. I could see it going down once in a while, but they need to upgrade. What are they using?
Codex, and they refuse to upgrade any of the equipment because they're rolling fiber.
And he could explain how many times, what they've done. Thank you.
I've already called the Public Service Commission. They're involved in this, so, and they're getting the same runaround. I'm already speaking to the executives, support.
Well, you're doing the right things. I mean, it's not much more that I can do other than call the corporate
Yeah,
contact.
It's Public Service.
We've had problems with them here. What's that?
Public Service Commission blamed the town.
Oh,
Everyone's pointing the fingers at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now they're blaming the neighbors
Yeah.
for our problem.
They're saying
And
he's
that's-
backfeeding.
That's not the case.
Someone turns their TV on, it takes us offline. And the response is, we can't help.
We contract with Optimum, right?
Right.
When that is up, do we have alternatives?
It's got to go through the Public Service Commission. We don't get to decide that. Which is a weird way, that's the way I understand it. I don't know if you know any different. So,
It is each town contracts with a single provider.
you're right.
Well, that I understand, but when the contract comes up, then we change providers.
Well, like I said, that goes to the Public Service Commission.
Yeah, they have to approve it. We can recommend it.
Are there alternatives?
That's the problem.
Right. Right, because may not have let anybody else put infrastructure in.
Frontier is supposedly north of here, and I have the direct number to Verizon Fios Fiber,
Yep.
because we
They're-
had an issue with our old
They
house.
do have fiber in some sections of the town.
Of the town, right.
Yeah,
some
Optimum
fact.
says there is no fiber in Lloyd, and that's the other problem, they're going
There
right.
there is
Yeah.
some fiber because
I know, I give them the addresses, and then they.
yeah, we have fiber here
Yes, I know.
at Town Hall.
Yeah, and they go like, what? Because they're like, oh, well, it's not your zip code. I'm like, it isn't our zip code.
Can we allow for extra suppliers to put in?
I think depends on the type of supplier, and I'll have to find out. I'll have to do some research. I'm going to call Altice. The most I can do right now is let me call Altice and see if I can help you.
I
But-
think the answer is, I had a discussion, I have Spectrum at my other home. And I was talking to Spectrum and the guy was explaining to me how this works
Yeah.
with the Public Service Commission. Because that we're upstate in the Adirondacks, all I can get is Spectrum. You can't get Optum. And the Public Service Commission actually agrees or negotiates with these different providers. And once they're in, that's all you get.
Infrastructure.
That's,
It's the infrastructure, right?
that-
They own the infrastructure.
they own
so
the infrastructure.
Unless somebody buys that infrastructure from them, which in this case, I don't think anybody would want to buy it.
And they claim it's for the benefit of the consumer, which
Yeah,
I have
so-
yet to see.
Is there potential of a town buying an infrastructure which would allow for,
Millions.
well,
I doubt
I'm
it.
just asking.
I don't, yeah, I don't think it's
Realistic at
either.
all.
I think the best we do right now is I'll call Altice also, just to see if I can help you. I can't promise you anything. But I know there have been problems throughout the town. We had a problem here. We've had some problems with a couple others and, that's what we'll do for you. Okay,
Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for
Any
bringing it
help?
forward.
Peter's hands up.
You're not home, Victor, and then off, so it's going through your cell phone.
We don't have cell service, that's the problem. We don't, I.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's not like, right here.
I even tried calling AT&T, asking today.
Okay, let's move forward. Anybody else for privilege of the floor? We're going to move to motions and resolutions. Resolution A is to authorize payment of vouchers as audited by the audit committee.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
It's just.
Aye. It's just you two are going to have to motion. and have to-
Terrence, you're up,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Resolution B, whereas Ulster County has established a capital project entitled ARP Solar and EV Charging to encourage renewable energy. Whereas the town intends to install solar panels on the roof of the town Lloyd Highway Garage out on New Paltz Road. Whereas the county desires to issue an award to the town for the installation of solar panel and to assist in developing renewable energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels and help mitigate climate change. And whereas the county has agreed to engage the town Lloyd, and the town Lloyd has agreed to contract with the county to administer the capital project for the installation of solar panels on the roof of the town Lloyd Highway Garage for implementing green energy infrastructure in accordance with the Solar and Electrical Vehicle Infrastructure Grant Agreement. Whereas the town board is desirous of approving the agreement and authorizing the supervisor to sign it on behalf of the town. Now therefore be it resolved that the agreement between Town of Lloyd and County of Ulster for solar and electrical vehicle infrastructure grant, an intermunicipal agreement, is hereby approved by Town of Lloyd and the supervisor is authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the town. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, I'll sign that. Resolution C, and this is the seeker for Illinois Mountain, and I'll kind of skim through it a bit. A resolution where a town board previously declared itself lead agency for seeker for the Illinois Mountain Connector Trail. Town boards reviewed part 1 and part 2 of a short environmental assessment form, and the town Lloyd has reviewed the action, compared it with section 6, part 617, evaluated the importance of input, and determined that there is no significant adverse impacts associated with proposed action have been identified. The town of Lloyd offers the following information. The action is permitted within the zoning regulations and the town's adopted comprehensive plan. The action is consistent with the character of the existing landscape and will not impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural resources or result in adverse change. The site of the action doesn't contain any species of animals associated habitats listed by state or federal government as threatened or endangered. And any stormwater discharge created by the action will be directed to Department of the DEC stormwater speeds permit. The action will not create a material conflict with the community's current plans or goals as officially adopted or approved. It's consistent with the support and the objectives of the town, and involves cooperative efforts of the town and Scenic Hudson to create the connector trail to expand the recreational resources and opportunities within the town. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Lloyd, as lead agency, has examined the impacts and anticipated results for the proposed actions, determined that to construct the connector trail will not have any significant adverse impact, and the draft environmental impact statement need not be prepared. It's further resolved that the town board hereby issues a neg deck on the notice of termination pursuant to the requirements of the seeker. And be it therefore resolved that the town Lloyd board hereby authorize filing a neg deck pursuant to seeker contained in 6 of New York CR report 617.2. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, resolution D. This is for our support to the county legislature's adoption of resolution number 102, which is establishing a policy to fund, facilitate, perpetuate, and support the augmentation and operation of local emergency medical services in and for the county of Ulster. Whereas a provision for EMS is essential to ensuring the health, safety, and well-being of the residents of town Lloyd and Ulster County. And whereas the town of Lloyd, along with other municipalities, faces increasing operational costs in maintaining reliable EMS services, including personnel, training, equipment, infrastructure. Whereas the recently released EMS service delivery report for Ulster County, prepared by Center for Public Safety, has identified significant challenges, including staffing shortages, increasing response time, and financial instability among local EMS supporters. Proposed Resolution 102 establishes a policy to fund, facilitate, perpetuate, and support the augmentation and operation of local EMS in the amount not to exceed $5 million per annum, thereby providing much-needed financial relief to municipal EMS services. And the resolution further mandates transparency and accountability by requiring the funds to be solely used for EMS-related expenses, including staffing, training, equipment procurement, operational costs, with annual reporting requirements to Ulster County Legislator, and where the town of Lloyd recognizes that the sustainability enhancement of EMS services are critical to public health and safety, as the resolution 102 represents a proactive and fiscally responsible approach to addressing EMS challenges in Ulster County. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the town board expresses a strong support for Ulster County legislators' adoption of Resolution 102 and urges its full implementation to ensure continued availability of high-quality EMS service for all residents, and that a copy of the resolution of this resolution shall be forwarded to the Ulster County Legislator, the Ulster County Executive, Department of Emergency Services, and any other relevant agencies as an expression of Lloyd's support for the sustained EMS funding within the county. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion? Yeah, discussion?
Yeah, this is just saying that we are supporting their effort
Yes,
to pursue this.
correct.
The 5 million's funded by the county.
It's funded by the county.
Right.
And it will be, they have to work the algorithm of what each town gets.
Right.
So that's part of the debate that the EMS service, that the county executive and its office and the legislature is having.
And this is what we met with Ulster County with Everett on.
No, this is different. You met with Everett on the CON.
On the CON, but so they could get to this point, right? So they could pursue this.
So two separate things.
Two totally separate
Totally
things?
separate things, yes. This is funding to help the viability of the EMS services across the county. This is additional funding from the county that the towns don't have today.
Does it, do you know how it will be spread from a dollar standpoint? Like right now, we're funding. Some towns choose not to fund.
Right,
We're funding 640,000, something like that. 630,000.
They have
Some towns in the county
Right.
are not funding at all.
Correct.
So by this $5 million, do we get any benefit?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
we're included.
Yeah, this is just a matter of how much of a benefit we get. And that's what the algorithms, they have to agree on that.
Distribute to each town, is that correct?
Right. That's what I'm concerned about, the distribution. Because again, some towns just, they don't fund it whatsoever. We feel it's important enough that we need to fund it and we need to budget. for
Yeah,
it.
so right now we get nothing from them, so we'll get something. That's the way I look at this.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whether it's $1 or 500,000, it's that much more than we have today. And I think it'll also show a commitment from the county that they support EMS services.
Right.
Which
Yeah,
has been
they
an
clearly,
issue.
right.
Which has been an issue. Right.
All right.
Okay, any further discussion? Any questions? Okay, just go ahead, might as well roll call this one, yeah.
Farina,
Yes.
Plavcheck.
Yes,
Rizzo.
okay, so we'll get that up to these people. Has to go to Rich Parade also, and also County Supervisors, and John Quigley. I'm sorry, yeah, Jim Quigley. Okay, Resolution E is to authorize the supervisor to approve the 2024 audit of the justice courts conducted by Kendra Menard at the request of Judge Eugene Rizzo. Okay, a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, Resolution F, to approve the hire of Clifford A. Brower III as a MEO at the hourly rate of $27.55, effective 3/24/25, pending satisfactory completion of DOT physical, which is budget supported at the recommendation of Richard Klotz, Highway Superintendent.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, Resolution G. Whereas Town Lloyd did an RFQ to complete the electrical work at the Lewis DeStacy Pavilion, and the town received 3 responses, and the town accepts the quote from Bragg Electric of $3,712, and you can see the quotes there. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, there's, as you can see, between the two bids we received, 10,000 and 3,700. The 30, when I spoke to Mr. Bragg, I just wanted to make sure that he was adhering to the scope. And he made it very clear that this is not the normal price that he would be charging, but he wanted to do something for the town in support of the pavilion. And it's a reduced rate because P&G Electric, they've been very good with us. So, and I just was surprised by the spread, but he's doing it at that price, and I think he's self-performing. And I believe he'll start Thursday or Friday, as soon as I get him the equipment he needs.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Any
good. The
other
town
questions?
benefited. It's good.
Any other questions? Yeah, you want to roll call, Wendy?
Farina.
Yes.
Plavcheck.
Yes.
Rizzo. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And nobody showed up for the public hearing. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing on local law A?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, most, public hearing's closed. So we're going to move on to the resolution for, first for seeker for the local law A. So resolution to Town Lloyd has introduced local law A of 2025 to amend chapter 100 zoning district regulations, section 100-12 and 26 of the code. Whereas said local law constitutes type 1 action under New York State seeker, and after reviewing part 1 and part 2 of the full environmental form and considering the factors and considering environmental effects, the town of Lloyd has determined that the adoption of the local law will have no significant environmental impact. Therefore, it's resolved the town board of Lloyd that local law A 2025 to amend chapter 100 zoning Article 4, entitled District Resolutions, and Sections 100-12 and 26 of the code will have no significant environmental impact, and the board hereby issues a neg deck for seeker. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay, and resolution I is the actual law, adopting the actual law, which is a resolution whereas local law A of 2025 to amend chapter 100 zoning, again, district regulations, sections 100-12 and 26, was introduced to town board on 19th of February 2025 at 7 p.m. And whereas this local law amends Attachment 1 use table and Attachment 6 dimensional standards of the Code of the Town of Lloyd. The town clerk published and posted a notice of public hearing for tonight, March 19th, and circulated pursuant to town law. Whereas the Town of Lloyd Planning Board has recommended that the law be enacted and proposed, and the Ulster County Planning Board provided an advisory comment recommended that the buildings seeking to go higher than 35 feet should do so via special permitting. As part of that review, a visual impacts analysis should be conducted given the proximity to the Hudson River, and the plan should be made for those parcels located in a state coastal zone. Whereas the town has considered that advisory comment, and the board notes that generally uses that could be up to 50-foot high, would need site plan and sometimes a special use permit. So the town feels that the current reviewing process would take into consideration the view set impacts in any water consistency items, and the town feels no further revisions are necessary to determine its best interest of the town to proceed with local law A of 2025 in the form attached. And the public hearing was held tonight, the 19th of March, and all interested persons were given the opportunity to be heard. Now, therefore, it's resolved that local law A, entitled District Regulations, section 100-12 and 26 of the code, be enacted in the form Schedule A as is fully set forth herein. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay, resolution J. Whereas the town board proposes to study its existing transportation network to support the development of a comprehensive safety action plan by creating a comprehensive safety action plan, and the town has been awarded a grant under the fiscal year 2024 Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, administered and funded by the U.S. Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration. And the grant is subject to grant agreement under the fiscal year 2024 Safe Streets and Roads for All grant between U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, and the town. Whereas the town is seeking qualified consultant engineer to perform services including development of transportation safety plan to ensure compliance with the agreement between the US DOT and the Highway Administration and the town. Town wishes to entertain proposals for consultants for the town of Lloyd to perform services as set forth, and as town has prepared an RFP and desires to advertise said request pursuant to law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to release the request for proposal for consultant for a town of Lloyd zero vision transportation plan, with proposals being due April 17th at 11 a.m. And said request for proposal shall be posted and published according to law. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, and this was again, the Safe Streets for All grant that we got towards the end of last year. The contract signed now, so we can go out to bid,
Right.
get a consultant to work on it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay, motion carried. And resolution K is to accept, for the town supervisor to be able to sign the renewal of municipal contract with Auctions International for purpose of selling surplus equipment for the town of Lloyd for a period of 2 years at the recommendation of Richard Klotz, Highway Superintendent. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Okay, any other business that the board has tonight? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss a labor contract.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're going to move to executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
coming in.